guys, welcome to the $1 Million Brand Challenge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen in a couple of moments, and I'm going to show you exactly how we went from zero to $500,000. Fast. When I say fast, lightning fast. And you're going to have articles that you have to complete. You're going to have assignments that you have to complete. This is a challenge, so we're challenging you to put in the work. And I believe I've just evidenced, as I always do, that if you put in the work, you will get the results. Very simple. I tell everyone, your ROI comes at SOI. So your return on investment comes at the speed of implementation. So just because this is a free challenge, please do not write it off, and please do not take it lightly. Because just this morning, we evidenced a 7-figure deal in less than 45 days. From intention, from setting the thought to acquiring the deal. 7 figures in less than 45 days. We were at 450 in less than 90 days. Listen, guys, this works if you work it. I'm not doing no seances. I'm not burning sage. I'm not doing none of that. I'm doing the work. And if you do the work, you'll get the result. Does everybody understand? That's pretty straightforward, right? Okay, phenomenal. Let me share my screen and we can begin. I know we're a couple minutes late. I had to lock those things in. So here we go. $1 Million Brand Challenge. Can everybody see my screen? Please put it in the chat if you can see my screen. Very good, very good. Anyone else? Can anybody? Okay, good. Absolutely phenomenal. So I'm going to show you how to start today to grow from 0 to 7 figures and learn the $1 Million branding method. That's what you're going to learn today. So I hope you've got your pens ready. I hope that you're writing as much as you possibly can, because you need to know all of this. So here's the challenge itinerary. From 9 to 10, I'm going to give you the 3E framework. And we're going to try to tighten it up because I know we're a little bit late at starting because I had to lock something in. But from 9 to 10 is the 3E framework. From 10 to 11 is becoming the brand. Becoming the brand. From 11 to 12 is the implementation strategy and your homework. From 12 to 1 will be the lunch break. From 1 to 2 p.m. will be the VIP brand assessment. So we're going to go a little bit deeper on the VIP. And then from 2 to 3, it's going to be a Q&A with the brand. Yes, a Q&A. So as you're going through this, don't ask any questions. Don't come off mute. Write your questions down. And then from 2 to 3, we'll do a quick Q&A. And then we'll break for the day and come back tomorrow, same time, same place. If everybody understands, please put it in the chat. This is going to take you from where you are to where you want to go. This is why we set the intention. And this will help you to attract your people, which is why we went through the people piece on the VIP. I can tell you nothing more than I guarantee this, I promise this, and I swear this. As long as you implement this, you will be massively, massively successful. And I hope I've shown you evidence. So what is the 3E framework? The 3E framework is an honest assessment of who you are, where you are, and what value you bring to the table. So I want you to write this down. It's who you are, where you are, and what value you bring to the table. 3 basics, 3 deliverables that we guarantee you, and this is the beautiful part, you already have them. Right now, you came to the call with them. You went to sleep with them last night. You've gone to sleep with them for as many years as you've been here. The 3E framework. The 3E framework is number one. Let's get to number one. Okay. So this is a little bit interesting, but no problem. This is how we do. It's a little bit interesting, but the 3E framework, the first one is experience. Experience. What is your experience? Number two is education. What is your education? And number three is your expertise. What is your expertise? So I want to give you a background of mine for an example. And we're going to start with education. So for education, I've got 2 masters. I'm in 2 doctorates. 2 master's degrees, 2 doctorates. So I want you to write down in your 3E framework, what is your education? And then what is your experience? So my experience is organizational development, leadership development, human resources, and I've got a complementary counseling and coaching background. Counseling and coaching. And then my expertise. So my expertise is communication. Communication, speaking, closing, business development, business building. What is your education, experience, and expertise? What does that look like? What does that really look like? What does it really mean? What do you have? What did you bring with you? So here's some examples and explanation. In phase 1, I branded myself based on my education, experience, and expertise. So you can see the graduation piece there. Number 2, you can see the organizational development piece. And number 3, you can see the microphone. Education, experience, and expertise. What is your education, experience, and expertise? These are your core deliverables. Core deliverables. We're talking about building a world-class brand. I promise you, if you do this the right way, you will attract your ideal clients by the boatload, as I just evidenced and continue to every single day. You will do the same thing. It's not always going to go the way you think it will. I'm going to say that. It's not always going to go the way you think it will, but you always want to be able to innovate. You always want to be able to innovate. I hope I'm teaching you something right now. Did you just learn something? Put it in the chat if you just learned something. Put it in the chat if you just learned something. I shared my screen. I went live. The little bottom pieces didn't come up. So that was kind of like a choker for a moment. But do you choke? Do you choke? No, you innovate, you move along with it, and you keep going. Okay, so the 3E framework. What is your educational background? What is your experiential background? And what is your expertise related background? For everyone who just came, we're talking about the 3E framework. The 3E framework is an honest assessment of who you are, where you are, and what value you bring to the table. Here are some examples and explanations. 2 masters, 2-time doctoral candidate, leadership, brand, and media psychology. That would be my educational piece. My experiential piece would be 10 years organizational development consulting and executive leadership and business coaching. That's the experiential. The expertise would be communications, certified coach, speaker, consultant, and 2 times best-selling author. So when you're writing yours, I want you to think of your education, your experience, and your expertise. And I don't want you to get hung up on what you think you don't have, because life experience counts. Life experience qualifies. If you heard Jerry on the Breakfast with the Brand, he talked about his life experience. So please understand that your life experience counts. And the things that you have learned as far as education counts. I'm going to show you something. I want you to write this down. Write down Healing Neen, H-E-A-L-I-N-G, and then another word, N-E-E-N. Healing Neen. Now, Healing Neen, I think she came from Chicago. Is it okay if I tell a story? Put it in the chat if it's okay if I tell a story. I want to tell you a story. I want to give you some background. Is that all right? All right. Healing Neen. The woman's name was Neen, and her mother was an alcoholic and addicted to drugs. She used to have people over to have drug activity or whatever the case may be, and they would take her daughter in the back room. Her daughter's name was Neen. When she recalls it, and this is on YouTube, you can go find it. It's public, that's why I can say it without there being any disclosure problems. It's public, but she said that it started happening to her when she was around 6. And she learned. She learned the hard way about life. And she grew up to become addicted to drugs herself and alcohol herself. I think she has about 100 arrests. About 100 arrests, ranging from all manners of shoplifting, drug possession, and anything else you can imagine. Go ahead and look at it for yourself. She'll explain it better than I will. However, around the age of 30, I think it was 30, 32, she somehow gained the resilience, and her mother used to use drugs together. That's how she grew up, to do that and to be a couple almost of people, daughter and mother tag team that used drugs. There was no hope possible, is what I'm saying. If you looked at it from the outside, you would say it's a destroyed life. Nothing will ever come from it. Now she runs a successful nonprofit. She runs a successful drug addiction rehabilitation, and she runs a successful speaking agency. So when I say education, it doesn't have to be in the form of a master's degree. When I say education, it doesn't have to come in the form of a doctorate. When I say education, it's life education and life experience as well. Does everybody understand? I'm talking about the hard life. I'm talking about the hard way. So if any of you have anything as bad or better than that, you can be a massive, successful story, 7 figures and better. No question. And you can impact lives and give back and create change and create impact, because she does all of those things consistently and consecutively. If you want to use the word, like, she came back from HELL to tell a story. And now she speaks in correctional facilities. And in her presentation, one of the things that she shows first is her arrest picture, where she's there with the square, looking all manners of disoriented, to say the least. Healing Neen is the documentary. Again, Healing Neen, N-E-E-N, a story of redemption, a story of opportunity, a story of possibility. And I greatly urge everyone here to look at it, because she has built a 7-figure brand. Now it's your turn. Based on the information that I just gave you, I want you to detail your education, your experience, and your expertise. Take your time. Don't do this lightly. I'm going to give you 7 minutes for your 7-figure work break. The first one, 7 minutes, 7-figure work break. So what I want you to do again, just to bring it up, is I want you to put together your 3E framework. What is your education, experience, and expertise? Start now. And before you write this off as being something that you don't need to do, remember what Jerry Slugger Forrest said about the coach telling you to go back to the basics and do things that you might not have the patience to do. Start now, 7 minutes. Make sure you write down what you don't think is pertinent, because I guarantee you that everything is. Just so we're clear, this is exactly what I did when I began to build my brand. I took an assessment of myself. What gifts, what talents, what assets did I have? What gifts, what talents, what assets, what experiences? All of them. You hear me say it when I say I'm just a kid from Harlem. What are your experiences? That counts. So write it down. Write down everything that you think doesn't count, and don't leave anything out. And 3 more minutes. And for those of you who have just joined us, when I had the big screen, the words on the bottom didn't show. So you got a lesson as well in grace, as Dr. Ed put it. Grace and humility, because tech is not always going to work with you, but you always have to know how to work your tech. What is your educational background? What are you not counting as education that counts as education? What are you discounting as expertise that really is expertise? These are some examples of mine, just to give you an idea of what it looks like. This is the 3E framework. This exercise is for you to write down your education, experience, and expertise. Two more minutes. Try to get it all out. Okay. Now, once I had my 3 E's figured out, which you should now, my next question was, how do I bring it all together as a $1 million brand? What does that look like? How do I make that work? So you got your assets and you're probably wondering, okay, I know my education, I know my experience, I know my expertise, I know what I'm good at, I know what other people say that I'm good at, but how does this all work? How does it come together? So let me share that. I branded me. That's what I did. I branded me. Who was I? And I want you to think. The attributes. The attributes look like this. Who was I? What I needed to know was name, attire, feel, and appeal. Name, attire, feel, and appeal. Well, how did all of these things come together? How did they coalesce? How did they come together? What did they mean for me? Who was I? Who am I? And then number 2, who was my client? Who was my client? A lot of us, we don't have these factors down yet. We're not sure who we are. We're not sure how we look. We wear anything. We just show up. If you watch what I've done the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over. And I've won over and over and over and over. And you will win over and over and over and over as soon as you do these things. I chose a look, white shirt, red tie, and I never deviated. Now watch this. It's going to do the same thing with you. First, they're going to ignore you. Then they're going to laugh at you. And then they're going to ask you, how much does it cost to work with you? In that order. First, they're going to ignore you like they don't even see it. Then they're going to laugh at you. They used to say, Shaan, how many white shirts and red ties do you have? They used to say I was like Mr. Smith. You go in my closet, all you see is white shirts. I was even asked on a call if I went to sleep with the white shirt and the red tie on. I was laughed at. I was ridiculed. I was mocked because I was different. You can even say made fun of, but that fun turned into millions of dollars. The jokes, who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? I laughed all the way to the bank because I made a decision. I set an intention like I taught yesterday, clarity. I had clarity. And once I had clarity, it was game over. Number two, who is your ideal client? You're not supposed to speak for everyone and just say, oh, well, I'm a coach. I work with anyone. Because if you work for anyone, you work for no one. If you make music, I'm just going to give you an example. If you were a musician and you made music for 7-year-olds and 70-year-olds, you'd sell no records. You've got to pick one, not 3. 1. Now, you guys just saw me with a boxer on Breakfast with the Brand. Who would have thought? The brand will grow, guys. Your brand will grow. You've got so many ideas. You want to serve everybody in the world. You will be able to serve more than one, but you have to start with 1, or you'll never make it to 2. Because imagine trying to catch 2 rabbits. Just imagine that, trying to catch 2 rabbits at the same time. What would that look like? Imagine trying to catch 3. Somebody releases another rabbit into the yard, and now you got to catch all 3 at one time. You know what you're going to have at the end of the day, end of the month, end of the quarter, end of the year? Less than you started with. No energy. You're going to be on your back, upside down, screaming at the sky. Why? Why does it have to be you? Why is business so hard? Why is business so hard? So pick one. Base it on the demographic, the psychographic, the population, the location, the education, and the income. Watch this. If they can't pay you, it's not your ideal client.